the Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, Northern Light EMMC leadership and the Nurses Labor Union have reached a contract deal just ahead of a planned strike. We'll have more ahead. Plus, fuel assistance programs say they are using what limited resources they have left to try to keep up with the demand. And a local radio station is hosting a broadcast fundraiser aimed to raise funds for TSA agents and Coast Guard members. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up, and as always, we thank you for joining us. The roads this morning may be a little bit slippery due to the snowfall that we had yesterday, so definitely take it easy out there this morning, but overall, it'll just be a cloudy day today. Let's get a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have some advisories up. The winter weather advisory was allowed to expire at 5 a.m. this morning, so we're now done with that. It's just a gale warning that we're watching out for until 8 o'clock this evening. We have active surf along the coast at this moment in time. Now we've had snow reports across the region thanks to all the snow that we saw recently. Here's a few of those now at around 5 to 6 inches across parts of the state. Overall, a wide range of 2 to 5 inches across parts of the state from the snow last night. Here's a look at things. We're still going to have some snow across parts of the state throughout the daytime period today. They will be scattered in nature. Some additional accumulations possible, but nothing too ridiculous from here. Let's zoom things out. Here's that area low pressure with rain to the south, even some thunderstorms to the south, but for us, just some additional snow showers on the way today. Futurecast showing some additional snow showers today. Those will end tonight with the clouds breaking up as well, so some sunshine by Tuesday morning. Hourly forecast moving forward. Here we are with those clouds and snow showers. Temperature is in the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. First this morning, a Bucksport man was killed in a crash in Penobscot after authorities say he was ejected from his vehicle. According to the Hancock County Sheriff's Department, shortly before 8 p.m. on Saturday, deputies responded to a single vehicle crash on Front Ridge Road in Penobscot. They say that 35-year-old Zachary McKechnie of Bucksport was traveling northwest toward Orland when his vehicle left the roadway, returned to the road, and then rolled over before coming to rest. The sheriff's office says McKechnie was ejected from the vehicle and died as a result of his injuries sustained in that crash. According to authorities, speed and alcohol are believed to be contributing factors to the crash, and it is currently under investigation. Meanwhile, Skowhegan Town Manager Nicholas Nadeau has died, according to an announcement from the Town Select Board yesterday. Nadeau took over as interim manager last May and was officially named town manager in June. The Select Board did not provide details surrounding his death, but noted in a letter addressed to town staff and residents, the Select Board will continue to maintain town operations and support staff during this difficult time. Skowhegan's State Representative Jennifer Poirier shared a message on social media about Nadeau's death, saying that he was a wonderful person to work with and someone who cared about fiscal responsibility and was dedicated to making Skowhegan a better place. Authorities say a Milford man has been arrested for drug trafficking after discovering methamphetamine at his residence following a probation search. According to the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office, deputies working with Maine Probation and Parole conducted a search at the home on French Settlement Road in Milford on Tuesday. As a result of that search, authorities seized 2 backpacks of interest. After obtaining a search warrant, they discovered 23.5 gross grams of methamphetamine inside one of those bags. The sheriff's office says 43-year-old Anthony St. Louis of Milford was arrested the next day and then taken to Penobscot County Jail. He's being charged with unlawful trafficking of drugs. And in other news this morning, an oil spill in Orrington forced a temporary road closure yesterday morning after a heating fuel tank tipped over. According to Assistant Fire Chief for Orrington Fire and Rescue, Mark Kenny, crews were called to a large spill on the Dow Road, deploying DEP pads and booms to contain it. The DEP and Clean Harbors were called for assistance using a vacuum truck to remove oil from the ground. Officials say crews were able to quickly contain that spill and prevent further damage.
It went very smooth from us getting there and mitigating and stopping the leak to securing and damming, diking the spills. The units could not get onto the soft grass area, so it was safer to close the load for their safety.
The road was closed at 7 a.m. and was expected to reopen around 1. Kenny said the closure affected the area around Snow's Corner on Dow Road and the intersection of Dow Road and Johnson Mill Road. After the initial cleanup, the DEP will assess the site and continue to monitor it. Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center leadership and its nurses' labor union have reached a deal just ahead of a planned strike, which was supposed to take place today. According to Northern Light health officials, the Maine State Nurses Association and Northern Light EMMC have reached a tentative agreement on a 3-year contract for the Bangor nursing staff. The contract includes pay increases for every union nurse, ranging from 12% to 17% over the next 3 years. The Nurses Association says this comes after 8 months of bargaining for improvements in health, safety, and economic language in their union contract. Nurses credit their final success in this agreement to their solidarity and their imminent threat of a strike. We are told the union has officially withdrawn its strike notice, and the work stoppage that was planned has now been canceled. In a statement, Northern Light EMMC President Ava Collins said, quote, "We are pleased to have reached a tentative agreement that reflects our deep respect for our nursing team and their vital role in delivering exceptional patient care. This resolution ensures continuity and for our patients and the community, and we are grateful for the dedication of everyone who worked towards this outcome," end quote. EMMC nurses will vote to ratify this contract on March 25th. A Bangor teenager is in custody, charged with multiple counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. On February 26, the Penobscot County Sheriff's Office received a complaint involving sexual exploitation of a child victim, allegedly by 19-year-old Sean Fleming of Bangor. The Sheriff's Office says the investigation revealed multiple victims and several years of alleged serious sexual abuse. Fleming was arrested on Friday and is being held on $25,000 bail. His charges include 5 counts of gross sexual assault, 10 counts of visual sexual aggression against a child, and unlawful sexual contact. Well, a Maine lobsterman has petitioned the Supreme Court challenging a certain fishing regulation. The enforcement agency argues the requirements are necessary, while fishermen say they've gone too far. Our Alexa Kennedy has more.
Frank Thompson, a fifth-generation fisherman, petitioned the U.S. Supreme Court challenging a rule that requires licensed lobstermen to install GPS tracking devices on their boats. The policy stems from regulations pushed by the Atlantic States Marine Fisheries Commission and implemented by the Maine Department of Marine Resources. Officials say the tracking helps improve data on fishing activity, protect endangered whales, and support enforcement efforts. Thompson, along with many others in the lobstering community, believe the regulation has gone too far.
A lot of lobstermen who talked about the struggles they had under regulation after regulation. This was yet another one that impacted them adversely. Their business is under a lot of pressure and scrutiny, and many of them voiced how they felt like they're being treated like criminals.
PLF says the case raises major constitutional concerns, arguing that forcing fishermen to install trackers violates the Fourth Amendment. The case hinges on whether constant monitoring, even outside of fishing activity, crosses a constitutional line.
I don't think they've been involved and thought this all the way through. What looks good on paper does not look good in the real world.
Fishing for 45 years, Beal says policymakers are out of touch with lobster fishermen's reality. He also says if current regulations were adequately enforced, the GPS tracking wouldn't be necessary.
A lot more people have got to start paying attention. If you don't, you're going to lose your livelihood.
The Maine Department of Marine Resources chose not to comment on the pending litigation. Gilliam says PLF should hear back from the Supreme Court in 6 months. Alexa Kennedy reporting for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news this morning, 19-year-old Chance Lauer was found deceased last week after being missing for around 2 months. Now his family is making sure the UMaine student's memory lives on. On Friday, Lauer's family announced the Chance Lauer Travel Scholarship Fund, which aims to help students pay for the cost of international trips and studying abroad. In his obituary, Lauer's family wrote in part, quote, "He was fortunate to pack more experience into his short life than most people ever will, including visiting 29 states and 27 countries on 4 continents, beginning at 6 months old, and learning to fly a plane while in middle and high school," end quote. They also added that Lauer dreamed of traveling the world as a journalist, studying journalism and international affairs during his time at UMaine. If you would like to donate to the fund, you can go through Kennebec Savings Bank, and more information is available on our website at foxbangor.com. During the month of March, many Mainers are still relying on their heat, but with the cost of heating oil climbing, some may be forced to turn down the thermostat earlier than usual. As our Alex Schley reports, rising costs are stretching assistance programs to their limit.
As the price of heating oil continues to rise, organizations that provide fuel assistance say they're using what limited resources they have left to try to keep up with demand.
So far, we have hit 100% of the requests that have come in that are eligible for the first 100 gallons, and we've not had to say no yet, but I will say this year we were the closest we'd been.
According to the Maine Department of Energy Resources, prices have jumped more than 30% in the past month. In February, 100 gallons of heating oil cost around $380. Now that same amount is nearly $500. Leaders of assistance organizations say that spike is adding even more pressure to the budgets that are already stretched thin.
We are seeing a pretty high demand as we still have some brisk weather, and right now we have the lowest dollar amount we will have all year, just because of the highest dollar amount that we spend is on heating fuel right when there's no donations coming in.
President of the Maine's Veteran Project, Doc Goodwin, says the organization is working diligently to make sure they don't have to turn anyone away. The organization plans to cut off assistance earlier this year, in part to stretch what funding remains.
April 15th.
April 15th.
And which we've never done. We've gone right into May.
The Galen Cole Family Foundation runs a similar program focused on Aroostook County, where the heating season typically lasts longer. President Scott Oxley says while they still have some funding available, rising costs are still a concern with months left in the season. Alex Schley reporting for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
The time now is 8:12. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the Maine Veterans Project gifted a Vietnam veteran a much-needed car. We'll have those details ahead. But first, let's take another look at the forecast. For today, we have mostly cloudy skies with a chance of snow showers, temperatures right around 33. Overnight tonight, partly cloudy, temperatures dipping down to around 17. And for tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, highs around 39. We'll be right back.
No. I'm in my own head.
What the heck are you talking about?
I think I got away with something that I shouldn't have. See that brand new Hyundai Santa Fe?
Yeah.
I only paid...
Finish that bucket on your own. Practice makes perfect.
Enjoy your new car.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.
Deal so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Right now, lease a Hyundai Elantra SE for $89 a month or get 0.99% APR for 60 months. Hurry in.
When you're ready to remodel your kitchen, find all the materials and services you need at Hammond Lumber Company. Get inspired by the extensive in-store displays in Hammond's kitchen, bath, and flooring division. Hammond's designers will help you visualize your space before the work begins. And all design fees are refunded when you purchase your materials from them. And Hammond delivers from 34 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. When it's time for a new kitchen, it's time to bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner.
When the unexpected happens.
Really?
We'll get you running again. Uninterrupted. Together, we're United. United Ag and Turf, your local John Deere dealer.
Think you're good at trivia? Arrange these holidays, these historic first, these animals. By the way,
I have no idea.
Congratulations, you have built the perfect line. I'm Deborah Norville, and this is The Perfect Line.
Onion rings before, in between onion rings and pizza.
Definitely after. This is what happy looks like.
Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
Heads up for motorists. The Maine Department of Transportation is closing the on-ramp for westbound I-395 on March 26. It will be closed from 5 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a concrete deck replacement. DOT says drivers heading northbound on Route 202 towards 395 should use exit 3B on 395 onto Main Street in Bangor and then take the next ramp to get to I-395 westbound. Message boards are in place advising of this upcoming closure. Recently, TSA agents and members of the Coast Guard missed their first full paycheck since the partial government shutdown began in mid-February. Here in Maine, it's no different, and one local radio station is stepping in to help. On Saturday, March 28th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., WDEA AM radio station will be hosting a special broadcast from inside Edwards Brothers Supermarket in Trenton. The broadcast will be hosted by Chris Popper, who says they'll be accepting cash donations, which will then be turned into gift cards for TSA agents at the Bangor International Airport, the Hancock County Bar Harbor Airport, and members of the Coast Guard stationed in Southwest Harbor. He says there are 7 TSA agents in Trenton, 50 in Bangor, and 90 Coasties, as they are affectionately known, in Southwest Harbor, who will be receiving these donations.
One thing about Mainers is that they always take care of Mainers, and they always come through when people need help. And these TSA agents and these Coasties, they need help.
According to Popper, those TSA agents and Coast Guard members can only accept gas, grocery, or restaurant gift cards at a value no higher than $20. For those who cannot attend next Saturday's broadcast, gift cards and cash can be dropped off at their other locations at the area. And to learn more, you can visit this story on our website. An Air Force veteran says a Maine nonprofit has given him the freedom that he wants back. Bruce Bissey is a Vietnam veteran from Cherryfield, says the Maine Veterans Project stepped in when he needed it most. Back in October, Bissey was on his way to a monthly appointment in Bangor for bladder cancer treatment when his car broke down. With his 20-year-old vehicle beyond repair, he says that he's had to rely on friends just to get around. But as of Friday, through the Maine Veterans Project Vehicle Donation Program, Bissey is back behind the wheel.
One word, freedom, man, just to get out even, you know. I feel like I've had cabin fever all winter long. I just can't go anywhere, you know. It's the first time I've ever been without a car this long in my life, you know.
For more information on the Maine Veterans Project's Vehicle Donation Program, head to our website at foxbangor.com. Well, an event in Bangor on Friday brought job seekers and potential employers together. Once again, the Maine Veterans Project organized a job fair at the Hollywood Casino. Twin City Tire, Hannaford, and Northern Light Health were among the 12 different businesses at the event.
Trying to do this a little bit more relaxed way for anyone, not just vets, but for anyone to be able to come in and get that first leg in, that first impression out of the way.
Moreno says this has allowed people to set up interviews after having that initial conversation. He says there was a good turnout for the job fair. And Dorian Pillsbury, better known as D-Max, is a young Brewer student and author known for his community leadership. Recently, he traveled to Washington, D.C. to share his work and his book, D-Max's Birthday Wish, with Senators Angus King and Susan Collins. Some of his countless projects throughout the state of Maine have included food drives, teddy bear drives, and classroom kindness initiatives. In a statement, D-Max's mother, Lisa Libertor, said, quote, "This trip was another reminder that meaningful work can travel farther than you imagine," end quote. The time now is 8:19. After the break, one of the busiest airports in the country was shut down after a collision on the tarmac overnight. More to come on that. Plus, an Ellsworth organization is looking to rehabilitate the old sheriff's home and jail. Those stories and more straight ahead on Good Morning Maine.
Chevy trucks are as capable and dependable as the Chevy people who drive them. You probably know one. Your sister. Your buddy. The ones who always show up. They all have that little extra something. And maybe you got it too.
It's Chevy Truck Month. Just announced. Get $8,360 total value on this 2026 Chevy Silverado. Plus, Costco executive members can get a $12.50 members-only incentive.
It only took me 4 stories and 3 songs. And finally, she's fast asleep. Now, it's my time to unwind. With my irresistibly smooth, melting Lindor.
From me, the Lind Master Chocolatier. Melt into your moment.
Ugh, I need new wipers. RockAuto.com. That was easy. That was fast.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
Carpets looking tired, stained, or just plain dirty? It's time to call the pros. At C&R Carpet Cleaning, we use deep steam technology to remove dirt, odors, pet hair, and allergens fast. Fresh, clean carpets, healthier home. That's the C&R promise. Visit our Facebook page for a free estimate or call us today, 631-7380. Step into clean with C&R Carpet Cleaning.
You know Matt pretty well. Did he give you any advice?
He said that I should use 26 words or more.
25 words or less.
Wed,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You just won it!
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
Welcome back, everyone. Despite the old Hancock County Sheriff's Home and Jail not being in use for around 50 years, the work to preserve its history refuses to be frozen in time. Recently, the historic building received a grant to help one Ellsworth organization efforts to rehabilitate it. Our Doug Banks brings us inside the old Sheriff's Home and Jail in Ellsworth.
One light shines upon 1,000 stories.
This building is part of the face of downtown Ellsworth, the historic face.
Constructed in 1886, the old Hancock County Sheriff's Home and Jail was in operation until the early 1970s.
There are actually places where the two worlds meet.
When a new jail was built, plans were made to turn the historic building into a parking lot.
And that was the beginning of the Ellsworth Historical Society. It was determined by the committee that the building indeed was worthy of rehabilitation.
It's a sentiment that's carried through to today. Recently, the Historical Society received a Revitalize Me federal grant from the National Park Service for over $185,000. It's the latest in a slew of grants they've received since 2022, totaling around $832,000, all towards their multi-phase rehabilitation efforts.
This building and the culture that surrounds it celebrates the common man and the plight of people who are struggling to live. But I believe the jail really is a significant part of what began the Historical Society and what defines this particular Historical Society. It's a very important part of who we are.
In Ellsworth, Doug Banks, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
The time is now 8:23. Let's get a full look at our forecast. Meteorologist Devin Biggs is in with the latest.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have advisories up. The winter weather advisory allowed to expire, so we're now done with that. It's gale warnings and small craft advisories still posted until 8 o'clock this evening, so we're now done with that. So here we go. Again, we have wave heights at around 5 to 6 feet. That's why we still have the gale warnings and small craft advisories. Again, the issue now is wave heights. Notice we still have 5 to 9 foot wave heights farther out towards sea at this moment in time. Meanwhile, here's a snow reports. We had snow falling last night. And again, we have snow reports at around 5 to even 6 inches across the state. A wide range of 2 to 5 inches fell across the region, and we'll still see see a little more snowfall that will fall today. Here's the last several hours with regards to the snowfall. This is clearing out. We'll still have some scattered snow showers across the state today, but the worst of it has since backed off. Here's that area low pressure that will continue to give us some snowfall today, but a good part of the U.S. pretty quiet out there this morning. So here's Futurecast. Again, some scattered snow showers out there today. They will back off later on tonight with the clouds breaking up too. So sunshine on the way as we head towards your Tuesday. Some more clouds on the way through Tuesday. By Tuesday night, another wave of a little bit of snow. Won't be anything too ridiculous. And then by Wednesday morning, nothing too ridiculous either. A good amount of sunshine. Here's what we're looking at for snow again. Anything accumulating further off towards the west, a ½ inch to an inch. For us, barely anything, and that's about it. So for today, here's what we're looking at. Mostly cloudy, some snow showers with highs in the low 30s and a northeast wind at about 25 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, we have upper teens under a partly cloudy sky and that north wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have upper 30s under a partly cloudy sky and that north wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, showing a mostly cloudy sky for your Wednesday with highs in the low 40s. Rain and snow chances Thursday, highs in the upper 40s. Mid-30s coming up Friday, a chance for rain and snow.
Meet the toughest team in the game. Bad Boy Mowers and Bad Boy Tractors. These powerhouses will do whatever it takes to win. Putting in the work with unrivaled engineering, game-changing features like heated seats and an Alpine entertainment system, plus durable implements and style that's in a league of its own. Bad Boy Mowers and Tractors. Power, performance, attitude.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
Spring forward into a new Kia with Maine's #1 Kia dealer, Darlings Kia. Step into a new Kia K4 for only $199 a month, or load up the family in an all-new 8-passenger Kia Carnival for just $399 a month, loaded with tech and heated seats. Plus, every new Kia comes with our 10-year or 100,000-mile warranty. The best in the business. Spring forward with #1 Darlings Kia. The best cars, the best prices, and the best warranty. You'll do better at Darlings.
It's back, Bangor! The Greater Bangor Area Music Showcase returns with the fan favorite Music Off-Broadway. Join Roger George and his talented musicians for an unforgettable show, all to support Rotary's work in our local community. Saturday, April 11th at 7 p.m. and Sunday, April 12th at 3 p.m. Getting your tickets is easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen. Bring your friends, bring your family, and enjoy a show that makes a difference. Don't miss it.
The State Department has issued an alert for Americans traveling out of the country, urging people to, quote, exercise increased caution, warning groups supportive of Iran may target other U.S. interests overseas or locations associated with the U.S. and/or Americans throughout the world. This comes as the war enters a 4th week with a new threat from President Trump. ABC's Sophie Flay with the details.
This morning, the clock is ticking down to a new deadline in the Middle East. President Trump has given Iran until tonight to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a critical shipping lane for global oil supplies, or, he says, the U.S. will obliterate Iran's power plants. But Iran defiant, threatening to respond by hitting target water and energy sites across the Mideast.
The danger with attacking infrastructure is that your infrastructure can be hit in return. So in the Gulf states, not only is it the oil and gas, which is the lifeblood of those countries, but it's the desalination plants. It's where they get their water. They're known targets, and they're not hard for the Iranians to hit.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent defending President Trump's strategy.
Sometimes you have to escalate to de-escalate.
Analysts warn today is the day average gas prices in the U.S. could top $4 per gallon. The average was below $3 before the war. These states across the South and Southwest are seeing some of the steepest increases at the pump.
The gas prices are ridiculous. You know, you have a lot of people who are out here really surviving, and groceries are high. Now the gas prices are increasing.
Meanwhile, Iran again targeting Israel. A ballistic missile slamming into the city of Dimona, and a second Iranian strike in the nearby city of Arad, both near an Israeli nuclear research center, both hitting residential neighborhoods, injuring dozens.
Look at the way the blast ripped away the facade of that building. The missile hit here, right in amongst these residential blocks. We're told dozens of people, families were inside at the time. This could have been much worse.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
One of the busiest airports in the country shut down after a deadly crash overnight. 2 people are dead after a plane crashed into a truck on the ground at LaGuardia Airport. More than a dozen injuries are also reported. ABC's Hannah Battah has that story.
Overnight, New York's LaGuardia Airport closed after an Air Canada Express flight collided with a fire truck on the tarmac.
There's probably 200 police officers and emergency response vehicles, and that plane is suspended on top of a vehicle.
Stop truck 1, stop. Stop truck 1, stop.
Air traffic data shows Air Canada flight 8646 from Montreal landed at LaGuardia at 11:40 p.m. Sometime shortly after touching down, the plane collided nose first with a fire truck.
Jet 646, I see you collide with vehicle there. Just hold position. I know you can't move. The vehicle's there responding to you now.
Images show the plane's nose destroyed. The entire plane tilted up into the air. LaGuardia closing down immediately. The FAA issuing a ground stop for all planes headed to the airport.
Del 2603, go around. Runway heading 2000.
Air traffic controllers scrambling to divert other planes.
LaGuardia Airport is closed at this time. No aircraft in or out.
Moments before the incident, the truck could be heard asking controllers for permission to cross a runway. A controller apparently giving permission.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower requesting to cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company crossing 4 at Delta.
Just last year, the FAA allowed airlines to operate fewer flights into New York due to congestion and air traffic control concerns.
Hannah Battah, ABC News, New York.
Meanwhile, families are waiting hours at airports across the country as TSA workers go another week without a paycheck. Now, President Trump is ordering immigration agents to step in. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the details.
This morning, travel chaos during the busy spring break travel rush as TSA workers call out of work in record numbers, triggering hours-long lines.
We got here 5 hours early. Fingers crossed we make it. Yeah.
A record 3,250 agents, more than 11.5% of the TSA workforce, calling out nationwide on Saturday. And TSA says places like Houston, New Orleans, Atlanta, and New York's JFK all had call-out rates between about 30 and 40%. The president now ordering ICE agents into airports across the country to help the TSA. Sources tell ABC News these additional federal officers are being deployed to 14 airports where they're expected to help with crowd control and manage security lines.
But there are roles we can play to release TSA officers from the non-significant roles, such as guarding an exit, so they can get back to the scanning machines and move people quicker.
It comes as the partial government shutdown stretches on. Lawmakers have been at a standstill over how to fund the Department of Homeland Security, but there is some possible movement. Democrats demanding immigration enforcement reforms said Sunday that some Senate Republicans now side with them to fund TSA separately from the rest of Homeland Security, so TSA agents can get paid. But they're blasting the idea of having ICE agents in airports.
The last thing that the American people need are for untrained ICE agents to be deployed at airports all across the country, potentially to brutalize or in some instances kill them.
I can see we're having more law enforcement officials at airports to relieve some of the pressure on TSA might help to expedite these lines.
And the TSA's My TSA app has also been affected during the funding fight. So travel experts recommend checking airport websites ahead of time and arriving at least 2 to 3 hours ahead of your flight. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll hear from a women's empowerment coach about a fun event coming up in Bangor. Don't go away.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. No, it was a big step towards healing.
Thank you, Senator Collins.
Please continue delivering for T1 families.
Give your home or business a clean slate. From roofs to carpets, siding to storefronts. We clean it all, inside and out. Locally owned, fully insured, and committed to quality. No job too big or small. Message us on Facebook at Clean Slate Services 207 or call 207-631-0500 for a free estimate. Clean Slate Services. Your property renewed.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
No matter how good of a day you're having, everyone usually needs an opportunity to pause and reset. And as we keep springing into spring, people needing a break from reality are clearing their minds and finding mental and physical health benefits, all with the help of a growing trend referred to as forest bathing. Fox News' Ted Linder takes a closer look at what it's all about.
With the weather warming up, more people are flocking to the outdoors.
When I'm here, it's almost like a protective bubble around me. It provides a shield.
And a growing number are turning to a trend called forest bathing. While it's not an actual bath, the act is based on a Japanese wellness practice where people immerse themselves in nature and engage all their senses to connect with the environment around them.
So forest therapy at its core is really a nature-based mindfulness activity. So it's actually a lovely way for people to reconnect with nature, to reconnect with aspects of themselves.
Unlike a hike up a mountain, forest bathing is more about relaxing and being present in the moment. Trained forest therapy guides can lead groups like this one in Raleigh, North Carolina, through breathing exercises and help them center their focus.
Really focusing on your breath, on your footsteps, all the natural sounds around you.
Forest bathing is known to not only reduce stress and elevate moods.
I think it's important for people to take the opportunity to exist in natural spaces, both to unwind and relax so it can be easier to interact with other people, and to take a moment to appreciate beautiful things.
But also help improve people's immune systems and lower blood pressure.
Just remembering that we're part of something bigger, that we're all connected, and that what we do in our actions that we take really matter to the rest of the world.
Ted Linder, Fox News.
Now let's turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Happy Monday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have some advisories up. The winter weather advisory was allowed to expire at 5 a.m. this morning, so we're now done with that. It's just a gale warning that we're watching out for until 8 o'clock this evening. We have active surf along the coast at this moment in time. Now we've had snow reports across the region thanks to all the snow that we saw recently. Here's a few of those now at around 5 to 6 inches across parts of the state. Overall, a wide range of 2 to 5 inches across parts of the state from the snow last night. Here's a look at things. We're still going to have some snow across parts of the state throughout the daytime period today. They will be scattered in nature. Some additional additional accumulations possible, but nothing too ridiculous from here. Let's zoom things out. Here's that area low pressure with rain to the south, even some thunderstorms to the south. But for us, just some additional snow showers on the way today. Futurecast showing some additional snow showers today. Those will end tonight with the clouds breaking up as well. So some sunshine by Tuesday morning. Hourly forecast moving forward. Here we are with those clouds and snow showers. Temperature is in the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. Still to come here this morning, Max Sturm with sports. Don't go away.
Want to save $1,000? Switch to Spectrum and we guarantee you will. Seriously, you can hold us to it. Switch to Spectrum fiber-powered internet and 2 mobile lines for just $30 a month each. That's $1,000 in real savings in your first year, guaranteed. Or we'll cover the difference. We call it the Spectrum Savings Guarantee. So call this number now, switch, and save $1,000 on internet and mobile. It's a guaranteed no-brainer.
From the heart of Maine, where rugged beauty meets timeless craftsmanship, Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, taming the outdoors through groundwork, retaining walls and seawalls, building custom fireplaces that become the centerpiece of your home, crafting granite steps and patios that invite you outdoors, designing hardscapes that turn yards into living spaces, built to last, crafted for life. Richard Henderson & Sons Masonry, quality in every stone.
I'm Barry Higgins from Maple Lane Farm. We have our own beef herd here. We're on about 800 head, and it's raised right here on the farm. And we go direct to the consumer. No middleman, all natural, good old-fashioned Maine beef. Our quality is unbeatable. We have specials on Facebook every week. We guarantee our product 100%, whether it be beef, pork, or chicken. And we have a small selection of lamb also.
Maple Lane Farm, a candy store for a carnivore.
Hank's Husqvarna is your trusted full-line Husqvarna dealer, offering you everything you need for your outdoor projects. From high-performance lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers to chainsaws, trimmers, battery-powered and powerful snow blowers, we have just what you need. Every piece of equipment is fully set up, serviced, and ready for use by our certified Husqvarna technician. And all sales are backed by our in-house Husqvarna warranty. For parts, service, or new equipment sales, make your way to Hank's Husqvarna in Carmel or Newport.
The game of survival is in your hands.
Let's go! Oh my God.
I should have applied for the floor.
Extracted, all new tonight on Fox.
Welcome back in, folks. You may remember a week or so ago, Jack Webb went down to TD Garden to provide coverage of Cooper Flagg's debut in Boston. While he was there, he was able to catch up with Flagg's middle school trainer, Matt McKenzie. So it's only right that we bring you that interview now.
All right, Matt, I mean, what, just probably feels like a blank. A couple of years ago, you were working out with middle school flag boys, and here you are at the TD Garden watching Coop about to put on a show in front of thousands of Mainers and making his parquet debut. I mean, what are the emotions you're feeling right now?
It's very surreal. You know, growing up a lifelong Boston Celtics fan, being from New England, being from Maine, coming down here to attend Boston Celtics games growing up, and Cooper and Ace doing the same thing. Just very surreal feeling. You know, you see the sea of green here when you walk in, and just so much history in this building. And, you know, it's going to be a very special night for Cooper and for all of Maine, really.
It certainly is, and you got a bunch of Mainers who are coming down as Celtics fans. They get the return of Jason Tatum as well. I mean, you couldn't have drawn it up better than that. What do you kind of make of this just massive night here at the Garden?
It's just going to be very special. Obviously, 2 storylines coming into the game with Cooper coming back, and then obviously, hopefully, the return of Tatum. So I think it's going to be very loud. I'm expecting to see at least 50% capacity being Mainers in the Garden tonight. And so I'm just really excited to kind of see a lot of familiar faces and see what kind of reception the hometown kid gets.
Certainly, and I mean, for you probably started this as just your passion for basketball, right? I mean, it's not like you had the intention of being here watching Cooper warm up and impacting an athlete like that. What is this like for you in your own basketball journey to be here right now?
It means a lot, you know, and it just goes back to, you know, we talk to these kids about dreaming big and really setting your goals high. And Cooper told me when he was in the 7th grade that he envisioned himself playing here one day, and he meant it. And sure enough, here we are, fast forward several years, and he has an opportunity to step on the floor tonight as a starter in the NBA and play in the arena that he visited so often as a young kid. So it's just incredibly special.
As you interact with more youth players, right, because it's not like you stopped, can you feel that impact Cooper's made on the youth here in Maine and in the way they dream?
Absolutely, yeah. He's such a great ambassador for Maine basketball. He sets the example. He's at the pinnacle of it, and so many young basketball players look up to him. And he's just an incredible role model. Just the way he carries himself on and off the court. He plays the right way, and I think that kids can kind of look at him as like that example, for years to come now.
Lifelong Celtics fan. Obviously, you got the flag ties. Who you rooting for tonight?
I'm rooting for Cooper Flag.
There we go. Smart answer, right? That is the answer. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for that, Jack. Time to check in with the Husson University and the men's lacrosse team, who played their first in-conference game of the season on Saturday versus Anna Maria. The Eagles are coming off of a big win over Castleton. Anna Maria looking for just their second win of the season. Getting things started early were the Eagles' first score comes from Kieran Field, who had himself a day, and it's 1-0 Husson early. But the Amcats respond fast. Nicholas Hussa gets past the defender and takes it himself, lays it past the goaltender to even the score at 1. That's about as close as the game would get, though, as the Eagles began to fly away. Jake Sargent is the next to score on the big run, sniping the goal from outside. A little casual selly. Husson takes off, then Taylor Swalje hits Drew Clinch in front of the goal for an easy one. He has a goal and 3 assists in the first quarter. Then Field strikes again. He'd finished the day with 8 total goals, a new personal best from the proven midfielder. And lastly, right off the face-off, great ball movement. Ball eventually gets to Evan Carmody, who picks the corner, and the Eagles go on to win 27-8. Lastly, an exciting new partnership has been announced with the New England Patriots. The Pats have announced that they have reached a long-term deal with New Balance to be the official partner of the team. The agreement will come to life in the form of performance and community events, as well as brand new facilities, including a brand new state-of-the-art training facility, which the Pats will unveil to the world at some time this spring. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Purple Coat Bangor is open and ready for business. Jump into the best products, pricing, and customer service in town. Join a growing community with monthly events, art and music nights, daily specials, and plenty of good vibes. Located at 431 Audlin Road, right off of 395. Stop by and check us out today.
Chevy trucks are as capable and dependable as the Chevy people who drive them. You probably know one. Your sister. Your buddy. The ones who always show up. They all have that little extra something. And maybe you got it too.
It's Chevy Truck Month, just announced. Get $8,360 total value on this 2026 Chevy Silverado. Plus, Costco executive members can get a $12.50 members-only incentive.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. It was a big step towards healing.
Thank you, Senator Collins.
Please continue delivering for T1 families.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Purple Coat Bangor is open and ready for business. Jump into the best products, pricing, and customer service in town. Join a growing community with monthly events, art and music nights, daily specials, and plenty of good vibes. Located at 431 Audlin Road, right off of 395. Stop by and check us out today.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we are joined by Autumn Schmidt, who is a women's empowerment coach, and you are the owner of She's an Asset.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for coming and joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So Autumn is hosting a very special event coming up in Bangor in April. Can you just describe what the event is and what people can expect when they come?
Yeah, so we're hosting a women's empowerment event. It's called Become Powerful. And this is a 3-hour, think personal development, yet you're not sitting in your seats the whole time. I'm going to get you up. I'm going to get you in your body. And you're going to network and meet other powerful women all across the area.
Oh, I love that. And you've done a lot of public speaking and in different events like this in the past. What would you say is your favorite part of hosting these and getting all these women together?
The transformation, Janessa. It's when women walk in, they're unsure of like what to expect. They're unsure who's this Autumn chick, you know, what's going on.
Right.
But we get in and we start having conversations, real conversations. We talk about overcoming adversity, bullying, you know, how to handle not being an easy target for predators.
Yeah.
We start going there and women remember who they are in this room.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, by the time they walk out empowered, pumped up, brand new.
That's amazing. And I follow you on TikTok a little bit ago, and I've seen a lot of your videos and all that stuff. All of it looks so much fun too. I think that's a good aspect to touch on, is it's informative, but also a really fun time. What kind of made you want to start doing this?
Yeah, thank you for asking. So I am a career martial artist. I've been in the martial arts since I've been 5 years old.
Oh.
I'm a second-degree black belt. At 20 years old, I became a police officer.
Oh, there you go.
I suffered a career-ending back injury just when I was 26 and a half. I became a professional life coach.
Yeah.
That combination and that background of really serving and being able to help women my whole life has really set me up, especially facing my own adversity.
Right.
I just know I'm not alone.
Yeah. Exactly. I think that's important for other women to realize too, with someone like you or the people that are coming to this event that they're going to be surrounded by, is that they're not alone and they can kind of touch on other people's stories.
Exactly, 100%. And here's what happens in our rooms is women realize, I'm not alone. Me too. Holy cow, you too?
Right.
Me too.
Yeah.
Same story. And that really does help with the isolation aspect.
Absolutely. And let's just touch on what day this is going to happen, what time and where.
So our Become Powerful event is going to be on April 10th at the Hilton Garden Inn. We have 2 different times. You can come from 9 to noon, or you can come from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. They're both going to be the exact same. And we're really looking forward to it.
I love that. And for tickets, because I know this is a ticketing event, where can people find those tickets or find more information with you on social media or a website?
Yes, and this is important. Early bird tickets right now, they expire March 31st. So you want to come in, you want to get your early bird tickets, go to she'sanasset.com.
Perfect. Thank you, Autumn, so much. And I'm showing up. Okay, I'm coming.
Yes.
So we need more people signed up to come with me. All right. Autumn, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We're going to turn things back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have advisories up. The winter weather advisory allowed to expire, so we're now done with that. It's gale warnings and small craft advisories still posted until 8 o'clock this evening, so we're now done with that. So here we go. Again, we have wave height at around 5 to 6 feet. That's why we still have the gale warnings and small craft advisories. Again, the issue now is wave heights. Notice we still have 5 to 9 foot wave heights farther out towards sea at this moment in time. Meanwhile, here's a snow reports. We had snow falling last night. And again, we have snow reports at around 5 to even 6 inches across the state. A wide range of 2 to 5 inches fell across the region, and we'll still see a little more snowfall that will fall today. Here's the last several hours with regards to the snowfall. This is clearing out. We'll still have some scattered snow showers across the state today, but the worst of it has since backed off. Here's that area low pressure that will continue to give us some snowfall today, but a good part of the U.S. pretty quiet out there this morning. So here's Futurecast. Again, some scattered snow showers out there today. They will back off later on tonight with the clouds breaking breaking up too. So sunshine on the way as we head towards your Tuesday. Some more clouds on the way through Tuesday. By Tuesday night, another wave of a little bit of snow. Won't be anything too ridiculous. And then by Wednesday morning, nothing too ridiculous either. A good amount of sunshine. Here's what we're looking at for snow again. Anything accumulating further off towards the west, a ½ inch to an inch. For us, barely anything, and that's about it. So for today, here's what we're looking at. Mostly cloudy, some snow showers with highs in the low 30s and that northeast wind at about 25 miles per hour. Overnight tonight, we have upper teens under a partly cloudy sky and that north wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have upper 30s under a partly cloudy sky and that north wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, showing a mostly cloudy sky for your Wednesday with highs in the low 40s. Rain and snow chances Thursday, highs in the upper 40s. Mid-30s coming up Friday, a chance for rain and snow.
Seasons Lounge and Banquet Center. We're just one block from Hollywood Slots in Bangor and are now under new management with a new chef and a completely redesigned menu. Come grab a drink and enjoy a meal with us. Fans, food, fun. Seasons.
It's mowing season. And Bad Boy Mowers has the best lineup in the game. Built to win with more power, advanced engineering, and performance that never quits. Whether you're playing on this field or this field. So this mowing season, raise your game and join the team. Bad Boy, mow with an attitude.
Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover-Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance. Browse our inventory online or in person. Whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, we can put you in the vehicle that is right for you. Sales, service, and parts. Rowell's Garage, doing business the right way every day.
Who'd you make this for? I wouldn't have lived this long if I discussed my clients. You may not live long if you don't.
We do the job, we don't ask questions.
Hi, Dad. I'm gonna cook and then I have to go. What? My mind, it hasn't been right. I'm confusing time. No one can know. My secret.
Memory of a Killer, all new tonight on Fox.
Seasons Lounge and Banquet Center. We're just one block from Hollywood Slots in Bangor and are now under new management with a new chef and a completely redesigned menu. Come grab a drink and enjoy a meal with us. Fans, food, fun. Seasons.
Ellsworth High School principal Dan Clifford found himself in a sticky situation on Friday, all for a good cause. As a fundraiser to benefit the Ellsworth High School class of 2027 and their activities, students pitched in small donations to purchase strips of duct tape. During the lunch period, those duct tape strips were put to good use, suspending Principal Clifford up against the wall. In the end, $200 was raised for the junior class, and Mr. Clifford is likely still picking duct tape off of his clothing. Meanwhile, visitors across Mexico visit an ancient city to honor the start of spring. Dozens of people arrived at the Pyramid of Sun in Mexico Saturday to celebrate spring equinox. Several groups of tradition Aztec dancers performed at the base of the pyramid, emulating their ancestors in pre-Hispanic times. To honor new beginnings on the first day of spring, visitors face the pyramid and throw their arms to the sky. The pilgrims believe the area holds special energy on the equinox that can be transferred to those wearing white. It is about 30 miles from Mexico City and emerged about 2 centuries before the birth of Christ. It was once home to as many as 200,000 people. Well, it's a fierce cat petition. More than 200 cats across southeastern Europe are competing in the Sophisticat Feline Expo. In 2-day event drawing thousands of feline lovers, Organizers call the event the Oscars of the feline world, with the highly coveted Black Sea winner prize on the line at the end. Besides checking out the cute cats, attendees also browse cat food, hygiene products, clothing, and more. Well, America's national mammal gets a special tribute for the semi-celebration. 3 bison statues cast in bronze will now reside outside the Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History. Their presence is to establish the bison's place in American life as the country turns 250 years old. Millions of bison roamed the Great Plains, but almost became extinct in the 1800s. These sculptures were made in over 4 months by historic life artist Gary Stabb. Stabb crafted them in foam and clay before assembling them. The statues are larger than real-life bison and depict a bull, a cow, and a calf, and are meant to capture a unique aspect of North American heritage and history. The sculptures made their debut on Friday at the Smithsonian's Natural History Museum. The bison gained its official status as the nation's mammal under a law signed by former President Obama in 2016. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this morning, but as always, we thank you for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.
Today on 25 Words or Less, you know her from Superstore, a show described as too real to be funny by most Walmart employees and one very unimpressed TV critic. It's Lauren Ash. And joining Lauren are co-workers Lillian and Chloe. He hosts a lot of competition shows, and now you can play along at home. Whenever he appears on the screen, see who can be the fastest to hit that mute button. It's Matt Eisman. And joining him are our returning champions, longtime buddies Chris and Kiana. And here is your host, Meredith Vieira.
Welcome to 25 Words or Less. Hello, everybody. Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you.
So, Lauren, we know you as an accomplished actress and a comedian, but in recent years, you've sort of been channeling your inner rock star, and you're liking it.
Oh, I definitely am. It was always my dream as a kid and teen to be a rock star, much more so than be an actor. Yes, I've always written music. And yeah, 2 years ago, I started releasing music. I've put out 10 songs. Listen, I went through a really bad breakup. I spent a year writing my